It's the Power FM Morning Show.
Welcome back to the show.
Well, let's talk about bucket lists. And I have, of course, there's that movie, The Bucket List, and everyone has bucket lists, I suppose. Things they want to do before they kick the bucket. That's where that comes from, I guess.
Of course.
And
Yep.
I never really, gave it much thought until as I, hitting the retirement years and to know that that day is a coming.
Yeah.
And that I'll be graduating, and I'm kind of excited, kind of scared. It's just the whole weird thing. And
I mean, you have a minute. I mean, you don't have to.
yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, there's tornadoes all over the place right now, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and we're dodging tornadoes every other day around here. But so I started to try to come up with my bucket list, and so my first item on the bucket list was to get a bucket. And right now I'm showing an image of that bucket and that I got from Tractor Supply, and I converted that bucket into a chicken feeder. Yeah, I was really cut some holes in it, and anyway, it works fine. The chickens will stick their head in the little hole there, and they'll eat. And it just kind of, you fill it up, and it just kind of works its way down as they eat until it gets to where there's nothing left in there. And by golly, it works great. So, number one, check, get a bucket, do something with your bucket. And that's the first one.
I love your bucket, though. It's very bright and cheery, and definitely know where you can get a replacement if you ever need it.
Yes, absolutely. If
branded for that.
If I were actually to kick that bucket and break it, I know I can get another one that looks just like it.
You may even just drop kick it for fun at some point, because
yeah,
no, wait,
they're pretty
let me just
tough.
Let me ask a chicken related question here. So what's the benefit of feeding them in a bucket like that where they can stick their little heads in? I would imagine maybe it keeps predators or other, like, I don't know, we have lots of squirrels on our property. It, like, keeps them out of it? Or is it more just that you don't have to feed them as often? And
well, you can fill it up, and I'll mix it up with some seeds and some sunflower seeds. They like that, and you can just, and it just works. It takes a while. It's not something you got to do every day. You fill it up, and you just set it out there, and they go as they want to.
I have to say I'm a little disappointed, because the thought of you like with a little apron with a bunch of little seed that you're spreading out in the.
I do that a little bit too, but not with no apron. I'm just wearing, some sweats, and I'll go out there and go, and they'll look at me like I'm crazy.
My bucket list is to get you in an apron, so that's coming.
I'll let you in. This is completely, because we're going to be talking about rockets here in a second. So this is, since we're still on the subject of chickens, chickens are mean. You talk about Mean Girls, the movie Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Well, they ought to make a like Chicken Run or whatever, like that movie.
Yeah.
Call it Mean Chickens.
Yeah.
Because that's where the pecking order comes in, and so I have to actually strategically place the seed for the 4 hens in 4 different locations, because there's 2 red hens and a black hen and a white hen, and they don't like the black one and the white one, and the 2 reds will keep them. The other ones, trying to keep them away from the eating. But when I place the 4 different
racist?
piles,
like what's going on with that? Is it?
I think it's speciest.
Oh, okay.
Probably,
yeah.
Obviously, because they're in whatever different breeds they are, and so the reds kind of stick together, and so
I thought you meant they were mean to you. So
no, they're mean to each other, especially one of them, and so I have to kind of run interference so that she can have her little pile. And when it works out just right, they're all 4 different ones, and they're concerned about getting as much as they can as quickly as possible, so the other ones can't get that pile.
Yeah,
but it's not like I can't. I don't want to just throw it willy nilly, because stuff will start to grow.
That's in my bucket list. It's funny. You're pretty. That is my bucket list, though, to watch you do that at some point with your apron on. So,
all right. I'll shoot a video.
Come on.
We'll shoot a video of me doing this, and then maybe that'll be an episode of the Power FM Morning Show podcast.
You're a good chicken daddy.
Yes. The second thing on my bucket list was to go to Florida and see a rocket actually take off. I've been a space nerd since Apollo, and watching all the rocket launches and what space shuttle launches and whatnot, and to actually just be there. We didn't get as close as maybe I'd like, because I was thinking that if you're just a few miles away, then surely that's close enough. But I shot some video, and we're going to take a quick look at that, and then come back on the other side of it. I found video of the same rocket we saw that day. It was a SpaceX Falcon rocket with a payload of Starlink satellites. We were about 10 miles south of the launch at Laurie Wilson Park, and I was a little surprised how little smoke there was compared to all the footage I've seen since the Apollo days. I was just 6 when Apollo 11 launched, the same age my granddaughter is now. She wasn't too impressed. I was, though. The launch we saw seemed just so routine. Several people at the beach that day were surprised they got to witness one. Okay, now, as you have seen, it was tiny, and it was because it wasn't a big Saturn V. We're going to the moon rocket, or it wasn't, it was just a little SpaceX one, but it was. We were looking at the wrong place when it first went off, and I go, oh no, I hope they're not scrubbing the launch. And then all of a sudden, it was coming over from another place because they have all these different gantries, and so it went off at a different spot than what we were looking at, because we thought we were staring right at one of them, and we just stared at it, and we hear this. Oh! And then so Valerie turns her phone to get the video of that as it's already coming up.
So you, like, you finally get to do something that's like huge, because you have wanted to do that for a long time.
Yes.
And you're looking in the wrong direction.
Yes. And so we'd actually stayed there in Cocoa Beach a few years back, and we were in a hotel several floors up.
Where Major Nelson was from?
Yes,
like I Dream of Jeannie?
That's where the astronauts lived.
Yeah.
And so, but we actually missed a launch from the day before, but from our hotel balcony would have been perfect, because we could see all of them, all the different rocket launch spots.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, at least you think it would have been perfect, and then you're like, oh, it's
no, it was a great vantage point to have the height. We were several floors up, and I wish we could have been. But I thought being at the beach would be kind of cool, but I just looked at itty bitty, and hardly any smoke at all until it got a certain altitude.
Yeah.
As you saw in the video, and then it was gone. It was like in no time. That was that. And
this wasn't the one that like Katy Perry and
no.
Oh, okay.
That was they went up on the Jeff Bezos rocket company.
Yeah.
And this was Elon Musk's SpaceX.
Got it.
So I had 2 things on my bucket list and have done them both, and I'm done. And I can't think of anything else right now. And so I'm wondering what are yours? What are some of yours?
I have to be honest. I'm in the same position that you are, because one of mine was to get my college degree, which I did. That's the reason I left the radio station and kind of went off into corporate world. And then the other one was to see the Colosseum in Rome, and I did that already as well. So
you travel so much. Is there any places that you haven't been yet that you'd like to go?
Oh,
I mean, you've been to England and you've been to Italy and now you're talking about the Greece trip. That's the next on the bucket list.
I would say I would love to do that. I mean, because like the biblical history and all of that stuff that's there in Greece. I mean, we that would be amazing. But also, I would love to go to like Austria, or like my daughter went to Iceland a couple of years ago, and I'd never even really thought that Iceland would be like somewhere I'd want to go. And it's amazing, the pictures from it and that type of thing. So yeah, there's still definitely a lot of places that I want to go. But I have to be honest with you, COVID killed a lot of that. I used to travel like 3 weeks out of every month, and every quarter we'd have to go do like a European kind of training. We'd go to Germany, we'd go to London, we'd go, all these different places. COVID absolutely killed that for me. So I had like 2 or 3 years of it being like amazing life. and now I have all of my bucket list items checked off, and I don't go anywhere anymore. We need to figure out. You and I need to figure out something else to put on the bucket list, because that's really sad. We're too young to have checked off everything.
It doesn't seem like it's much of a list, is it? It was. I didn't have to even write it down. There is no actual physical check. Little squares to check off of, because it's all up here.
Right,
so,
right.
Anyway.
And like you said, in addition to that, you can also literally kick your bucket anytime you want to, which is a very weird thing. So please don't do that soon.
Go kick that bucket.
Don't do that soon.
Alrighty. There's another episode of the Power FM Morning Show podcast.
Now let us imagine that you must identify your station.
Power FM.
You might say...